And Rohan, what you have an update for us on a character we've discussed before.
I've been to Indian party ones, which are much less interesting, in part because everything does actually happen behind closed doors, and so not it's a coronation rather than any actual decision. Um, we are discussing Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal. Kejriwal is an important character. We've spoken about him briefly earlier this year. He was arrested in the run-up to the general elections on corruption charges, and those charges continue to dog him. He made his name as an anti-corruption activist, and is really seen, even though he only controls the tiny little city of Delhi, which is not even a full-fledged state in India's polity. Even though it's really small compared to giant states run by opposition leaders, he's often seen as one of the principal contenders against the BJP, in part because his politics is not weighed down by legacy and nepotism and that sort of thing. And also, it's seen as potentially pulling in an urban, non-caste-based vote that can expand quite beyond it. It's often socially conservative, economically relatively liberal, and so could take up the same sort of center space that BJP has done on some issues without the baggage of far-right Hindu ideology, and so it's seen as potentially a danger in the long run. And so the BJP has always wanted to go after this party to prove that they're legitimate in some ways. Kejriwal did not resign through his time that he was in jail, so he will remain chief minister of the state of Delhi while still in jail. He was given bail a couple of days ago, walked out and said immediately that he will resign in 2 days, which came as a shock not just to the opposition and so on, to the BJP, but also to his own party. It was quite a surprise that he would resign after coming out rather than when he was in jail. His argument, or the argument of those close to him, is that resigning in jail was what the BJP wanted, so that the party would be a bit headless. Coming out and doing it is more of a moral case. He's saying that courts will not acquit him because it could take 10 years. Usually cases in India take forever, these kinds of things. But he wants the people to acquit him by voting for him. Elections are due in Delhi next year, but they can be called before that if needed, and it's up to the election commission potentially to do that, or the president. And so he's basically staking his claim to getting a clean sheet from the people at large, something he's done before. He famously resigned after 49 days in power when he was first elected, again to try and win a bigger support base. And he will continue, I think, to remain a thorn in the BJP side and to challenge this question of can the BJP just go after the opposition now in this new era post the third term that Modi has taken over. So I think someone to watch, even though he remains only in charge of the tiny little city of 22 million people that is Delhi.
And just one follow-up, we've talked about this before, but one of the good things about the party is that one of the good things and the criticisms of the party is that it's really him, right? It's him, it's his vision, it's his persona. So if this gamble kind of doesn't work, it's still, it's the fear that it would be a headless party is still sort of realized. Is that right?
Absolutely. It was an activist movement party initially, bringing a lot of civil society with it, but he eventually kicked out a lot of the big other contenders for power within it. There is a second layer of quite young and interesting folks under him, but yeah, it's very much dependent on him. And he's, again, although he's going to allow someone else to be chief minister because he will be replaced in the interim, it really will be a referendum rather than an election in that sense on him. It's important to remember the last time around the BJP was extremely strong. Modi was very popular, and Kejriwal in Delhi, where the BJP tends to win on national elections, Kejriwal managed to pull in 2/3 of the seats, which was really, really a huge victory for him and the Aam Aadmi Party, which means the Ordinary Man Party, which is the name of his political party. So yeah, it's a big gamble, but it has really reflected his entire career as a politician.